And while we're here, might as well stay on the topic of Scream for just another minute, or another few minutes, and let's rank the Scream franchise from worst to best. So there's been 5 entries in the Scream franchise. I never watched the TV show, not interested in the TV show. So we're going to rank the 5 movies from worst to best. So let's start with number 3. Number 3. Let's start with number 5. Number 5 for me is Part 3. Part 3, it just felt a little bit too meta. Like they took the whole movie within a movie shtick that they did in the second movie, and they just took it a little bit too far for me. The whole killings happening around the making of a movie, it just felt like it detached it from anything that I was able to relate with, and it started feeling a little cartoony. The ending was great with Roman as the killer. The final fight between Sidney and Roman was phenomenal, but overall I won't say Scream 3 was a bad movie, but it is by far the weakest of the franchise. Number 4 for me, and this is where it's going to get a little bit controversial maybe. Actually, this whole thing's been controversial because, spoiler alert, part 1 is not my favorite. Alright, so number 4 is Scream 2. I liked Scream 2. I like every movie in this franchise outside of Part 3. I like them all a lot. But for me, Scream 2 just, it felt a little bit safe. It kind of followed a lot of it kind of understood what your expectations were after the first movie, and it just kind of played on those expectations. It brought in a killer that was related to a killer from the first movie. There were some nice sequences in the film, some nice kills and whatnot, but overall, Scream 2 kind of felt a little bit safe for my liking. So that's number 4. Again, I liked it. I liked it a lot. But that's number 4. Alright, number 3. Number 3 would be Scream 5. Again, I felt that it did a good job honoring what Wes Craven had done before, and I felt that it told a very solid story, ratcheted up the gore, ratcheted up the kind of the scare factor, but it didn't quite reach the heights of the 2 at the top of the list. Alright, here we go. Number 2 is the original Scream. Original Scream is a classic. It's a classic. It's for a long time it was one of my favorite horror movies. The wit, the dialogue, the scares, the kills. I mean, it kind of redefined what a slasher movie was going to be for well over a decade. And you got to respect it for how it changed the game. It created enduring characters that we still know and love today. Sidney, Gale, Dewey, Billy Loomis, Stu Macher, Randy Meeks. It created these characters that still exist in the zeitgeist of pop culture. So, and it created this whole subgenre of witty, self-referential horror films. You know, The Faculty came after that, and How I Met Your Mother. I Know What You Did Last Summer came after that. You know, you started seeing those self-referential movies, and none of those would have happened without Scream. So Scream was definitely a trendsetter, and I loved it. But in my opinion, the best Scream movie is Scream 4. I'm sorry, I think Scream 4 is phenomenal. Outside of an opening that's a little bit too on the nose, the rest of the movie was great. It definitely kept me guessing as far as who the killers were, and it approached the idea of a reboot more effectively than I believe the new one did. I really loved what they did with the legacy characters, Sidney, Gale, and Dewey in this movie, and I don't think that outside of the opening, I know that a lot of people like to crap on Scream 4, but outside of the opening sequence, I don't think Scream 4 has a weakness. I love it. I think it's the best in the franchise. So, how would you rank the Scream movies? Let me know in the comments down below. Feel free to send me all sorts of garbage about putting Scream 4 as my favorite, but I'm sorry, it was. It's alright. Let me know what you think in the comments down below.